Hey, hey.
Tobago updates.
Na, 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 na.
Good morning, Tobago.
Na, 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 na.
Wake up with Candace and Denicia.
Let's go, go. It's a brand new morning. Rise up to a brand new dawning. As the passion start to rise, the energy fill the skies. I say thanks for favor to wake up and hear me neighbor. 60,000 people strong.
One love to the island, yes, boy.
Hi, my name is Eamon. I am one of the main organizers of the May Mountain Bike Madness, which is held at Arnesvale, Tobago at the Table Peace Recreation Grounds. It's going to be great because we're going to have more than 100 participants, pleasing God, this year. Back in the 90s, I used to ride these mountains and I thought this was going to be a fantastic venue for a race. It had international quality about it, the terrain. So I decided it took me long enough to do it, but with the help of some friends, we put it together.
My name's Richie and I was introduced into the whole mountain bike scene by his truly, Eamon Healy-Singh, probably about 15-20 years ago now. And he would talk about this event that he had as a dream, and I thought, well, we got to make this happen. And it's just evolved as to what you see now, and it's a concerted effort, all the same. But we just knew that it was something that was had to be done for the youth, for youth affairs, and just getting people out on a bike.
We have a club, Tobago Mountain Bike Tours. I have a group of about 20 kids and they have progressed incredibly quickly. I'm very proud of what they've achieved in just a few years. During the lockdown we began to ride, and now they're very much they're young athletes. They're more interested in riding their bikes than playing with their phones, which is really a big result for me. And now we've grown into not quite a brand, but it's moved forward into a well-organized event that features enduro racing on the mountains behind, and then a cross-country event, which is a more fitness-based event within the area of the playing field. The cross-country course is based on an XCO format, O meaning Olympic, so we have A lines and B lines, and basically multiple laps. Elite level lasting about an hour and 20 minutes of racing. That means 5 laps of our course, which is about 3.5 kilometers. There's a sport category for people who aren't so serious, more weekend warrior type riders, and that is 3 laps, and which should be about an hour racing. So we cater for newcomers as well. We're trying to reach people and have a newcomers lap, which should be very exciting. So elite, sport and newcomers we have in the cross country, and then for enduro we have an open category also for juniors, and we expect about 50 riders in the enduro, and it should be very exciting racing on Sunday the 7th of May.
As you've seen it there, that's the May Mountain Bike Madness that's going to be happening in Tobago now. When we look at our video, we see we have some Red Bull type quality stuff happening here on the island. And this morning I have Mr. Eamon Healy-Singh. Let me make sure I pronounce that properly.
It?
I got it. I got it. Right, excellent. And so you have been doing this for a while, and there's not even much that we could ask or should ask after such a comprehensive video introduction. But you are doing something relatively new to the Tobago space, and you have taken on a number of different generations as you do it. As we saw in the video, we saw your friend there. And Richie, we saw a lot of persons who we would deem to be maybe around the millennials, and then we saw a lot of the Gen Zs. which is basically, we call them the TikTok generation, the
Yes.
ones that are all over social media. And you said one of the biggest accomplishments for you was really getting them away from that technology for a little bit of time, at
Yes.
least, and getting them outside and active and engaged. And so talk to us a little bit about, well, you said this has been a dream that you've had for over 20 years.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, many years ago, I was riding on my own in Tobago, and in that particular area, there I noticed there was potential for an international level event. And yes, it did take me quite a while to get it going. But I have a very useful and helpful set of people around me. A whole bunch of volunteers are making this event happen as well, and much thanks goes to them. But yes, we do have something special here in Tobago.
And I see you getting a little bit, emotional when you looked at that video and the type of support and, really and truly that team, that community around you. And I'm sure that there are other persons who were not aware that this type of activity is even happening in Tobago. How can they become a part of your team and also contribute and volunteer?
Well, the TobagoMountainBike.com is my website, and a lot of information about the event and our charity work and tours in general is on that website. This weekend should be exciting for spectators, and if you're a newcomer to the sport, you should come down there with your bike and your helmet. I can lend you a helmet if you need it, and maybe put your foot in the deep end and see what happens. But the beginner's level is very manageable. It's nothing technical or steep or crazy. It's just about participating and experiencing the lovely trails of Tobago.
Right. And how does it feel for you actually seeing the manifestation of this dream come to life right before your eyes?
Yes, as you say, a bit emotional, seeing how the kids are rising to the challenge. I mean, I have a young girl, Shenell Felix, who's progressed very well. She won a junior race in Trinidad when we went down to race in Chagaramas. So, and also within the junior boys, we've had a winner, Aaron Wheeler from Tobago. So I'm very pleased with that. It is emotional to see the generational thing. But it's important to note that these kids nowadays, the TikTok generation, as you say, aren't so attracted to the traditional sports. They're looking for other avenues to stimulate themselves with more like X Games, or not necessarily extreme sports, but more modern things like mountain biking or surfing or skateboarding or sports like that.
Right, but you don't just, this is not the only thing that you do. You also have, outside of this big event that you're having in May, you also do bike tours around the island. So tell us about some of the services that you offer and how can people get connected with what you are doing?
Well, I offer a trip. Originally, it was for tourists. Then during the lockdowns, obviously, things went very quiet. And we set up a charity, Life is a Cycle. It's a registered charity. And I began to take a lot of kids who were basically stuck and not going to school. And that has developed into something quite special. But traditionally, I do tours. We do round the island tours. We stay in one place for one night, ride on a bit, stay in another. And that's been quite popular amongst sort of sport tourism, the sport tourism market, which is a very important market, and Tobago should look to that.
Okay, excellent. And when it comes to events of this nature continuing to happen on the island of Tobago, this is the first, but what are the plans for the future for you? And do you see yourself maybe partnering with the Division of Tourism, Sports, Culture?
This is actually the 5th May Mountain Bike Madness. So we've sort of developed into reasonably well organized. So we've ironed out all of the wrinkles that we had in the beginning. Tobago Tourism Agency is one of our sponsors. Also, we have our main sponsor, Shazim Ali, property developer. Much thanks to you, Shazim, for making this possible. But I do see it as a viable sport tourism event that has quite a broad reach, because we have two disciplines. We have the enduro, which is the more Red Bull sort of adrenaline-based event. And then we have the cross country, which is much more accessible to people of all ages and all skill levels. So I'm hoping that within that broad reach that we can catch a lot of tourists from Trinidad and also from Tobago.
Right, excellent. And when we look at that route, it looks a bit dangerous. And you say you used to ride that route before by yourself?
I did, yes. I was just exploring around. I really enjoy riding in nature and spectacular views and, you know, heart-pounding descents. It's perfectly set up there for this event. It couldn't be a better setup. We have a trail called Top of the World for the Enduro, which is really the center of the trail system up there.
Right. And you were up on those mountains in Anna's Vale by yourself.
Yes, near 30 years ago now. There was a lot more agriculture going on those mountains back then.
So were you not like afraid that you would fall off of one of those mountains, or like what's the scariest experience you've ever had while being up there?
Oof, getting lost really in the forest and then coming out by Old Culloden Road near Ansfomaja Bay and realizing where I was, but being lost for a couple hours, eating some cocoa and drinking some spring water.
Wow. Interesting, interesting. I'm betting you have a number of stories to tell. But again, we want to thank you for coming on, and we look forward to the May Mountain Bike Madness that's happening this Sunday.
Saturday and
Sunday, and it's still open for registration, right?
It is indeed. TobagoMountainBike.com. Saturday morning is the cross country with the newcomers and the kids. We have 6-year-olds and under even going around the field.
Okay.
And then Sunday is the adrenaline and the enduro racing.
Enduro racing, right. And so you have a number of sponsors that are also on board with this event.
Yes, big thanks to our sponsors. And we hope to see people in Tobago come out and support this event.
All right, excellent. And are we going to see a lot more corporate sponsors coming on board next year? Maybe even seeing Red Bull as one of your sponsors in the near future?
Quite possibly. You never know. Anything's possible.
Excellent. Well, again, thank you so much. And we look forward to that and getting all the clips from the aftermath of that celebration, seeing all the kids out there on the track. That will be really interesting. So, guys, you heard it here again. Thank you so much for joining us, and good morning, Tobago. Thank you so much for your time and for putting together this event. Guys, you saw it here this morning. We had a number of interesting conversation, starting off chatting with Mrs. Alicia Edwards, who is the chairman for the Tobago Tourism Agency Limited. Then we spoke to the guys, Mr. Robin, as well as Sean Roberts, who are talking about climate change and, you know, how to manage that sargassum seaweed that we're experiencing on the island right now. And we just ended off with an excellent conversation here with our guys from the Tobago mountainbike.com, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, excellent. And Mr. Healy-Singh, we just want to thank you for the work that you're doing and seeing the vision that many have not seen and opening a new avenue for young persons to really embark on. As you said, the young people on the island now are looking in a different direction for stimulation, and Indeed. It's always good to get the adrenaline pumping and get them off of social media for a bit.
Oh, yes.
And out into reality. So, guys, thank you so much for joining us. Again, I am Shenell Felix, and this is Good Morning Tobago, right here on Tobago Updates. Again, thank you for doing all that you can to make us the best and the #1 broadcasting station right here on the island of Tobago. Guys, see you again on Tuesday.